So today we are, let's turn this off. Today we are heading up to Big CC in Wokingham. The reason why I'm going up there is because when I had all the changes made to the bike, the guy that did it, he didn't have a dyno, so I'm not sure what the bike is kicking out in terms of horsepower and torque, and I'd like to know. So the intention is to take it up there, and they're going to stick a PAL commander on it and dyno it. So Big CC in Wokingham, typically they work on Hayabusas, on turboed and supercharged Hayabusas. What am I doing here? Egypt. I was put into contact with them from a guy that I know, Will Bravery, who had his Hayabusa taken up there and turboed and stuck on a dyno and remapped. So he recommended them, so that's what I'm doing, taking it up there, see what this is kicking out now that I've had all the changes made. As you can see, that fuel gauge is playing up again, but so I've got to be very, very careful riding today. It's wet, there's low visibility, and I'm actually riding up to Big CC on a Friday morning during rush hour. So it's typically when people decide to drive like absolute friggin' morons. Right, well, I hope that was the right way. Do you know what? Let's pull over and check, because the last thing I want to do, that's going central London, so that is definitely the wrong way. Big CC, there we go. Here we are, Big CC. Unfortunately not open yet. I think we've got about 15 minutes. There we are. Right, seeing as I'm standing here in the Wokingham rain waiting for Big CC to open, I might as well do a quick walk around on the bike. So this is a 2300cc Triumph Rocket Free Roadster, 2014 plate, so it's about 7 years old. I got this about November last year, so it's August now, so I've had it nearly a year. Since having it, I've done a few things to it. I've stuck these engine bars on it. I've stuck these handlebars on it, which are from a company in New Zealand called Thunderbike. Oh, he's giving it some. What else have I done? I've stuck this aftermarket 3-to-1 exhaust on it, which does away with the cat and also does away with the other side of the exhaust. So the exhausts on this, I will put a picture up. They're huge and they're very heavy, so it kind of gets rid of some of the weight on the bike as well. But this is also from New Zealand. This is the good work of a guy called Paul Bryant, who owns a company called Viking Exhaust. So yeah, it's very, very loud. What else have we got on here? I've put this sissy bar on. I can't remember the manufacturer of it. And I've put these K&N filters on, which, as you can see, I've got rain socks on at the minute, because at the minute in England it's just tipping it down continuously. And that is pretty much all I've had done to it. So as I said, I've had a aftermarket map loaded onto it via Tune ECU. The map came from a guy that has done a map on another bike for a similar setup. So we've just taken that map and whacked it on here. But as I said, the guy that put all this stuff on and put the map on it doesn't have a dyno, so I don't know what it's pushing out to the back wheel in terms of torque and horsepower, and I kind of want to know. So that's the reason for coming here. I'm going to have them put a power commander on it, stick it on a dyno and map it, and then I'll have the sheet, which I'll stick the numbers up once I get it. Right, so I've just got out of Big CC. I'm just driving around Wokingham on my way back. The bike managed to kick out 160 horsepower and 160 torque in the end. So matching figures, pretty impressive figures. He said that that's the most he's managed to get out of a rocket with the mods that I've done, which is just changing the airbox and the exhaust. So I'll post those numbers up and the dyno picture of the dyno graph to show to you I'm not talking shite. That feels absolutely mental. I have to say it's not that easy filtering a Triumph Rocket Free. But my last bike that I had was a Triumph America, and that wasn't exactly a slim bike either. So I used to commute on that quite regularly. So I'm quite used to filtering a bike through traffic like this. Splendid. Yes, we're in touching distance. I can almost taste the dark rum. Right, now we're out of that complete and utter poo fest that is the M25. Time to talk about my favourite topic, that is music. So, hello sir. Last time I touched upon bands that are relatively new and a bit unknown, so let's go back to that, because there's plenty more fish in that tank. So, a band that, to be honest, is not really that new, but is relatively new to me getting into them, is a band called Admiral Sir Cloudsley Shovel. Now, whilst I don't know exactly what he was doing there, whilst the name sounds to some maybe a little bit, maybe a touch silly, they're absolutely awesome. They've got like this kind of like 60s, 70s garage rock vibe, and they play quite kind of like, I think the riffs could be best explained as being highly derivative of, let's find neutral, of Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and those kind of bands, but they're great, and I really like their overall, hello sir, their overall kind of like image that they put out, like the album covers, some of which I'll stick up on the screen, are just like, they just look really cool. Like they could be, they kind of remind me a little bit of kind of like album covers from the band Budgie, because of the whole kind of like the bird head on like a human body. So they're really good. They've got about 4 albums out, I think their latest album's called Very Uncertain Times. Great band, go and check them out. They're from Hastings, and me and my friends used to go down to Hastings quite a lot and drink in some of the pubs that they drink in. One of those pubs is in one of the music videos to one of their songs. I can't recall which one, but if you Google them or get them up on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find the videos. There's only one on there, and it's well, there's only one video on there of them in a pub, so it's that one. Right, so as you can see, we are coming up through St Albans High Street at the moment. Just going to creep around these chaps, do a bit of cheeky filtering down the high street. Got to treat yourself. There we go, let's just bung it in here. Always a bit always a little bit wary that El Fuzz will say, "Excuse me, young man, that exhaust doth make one hell of a retarded racket. I shall henceforth claim this motor vehicle's my own and take your license off you." Hello, sir. So, to continue on my recommendations, another band that is, this one's another British band that's getting a lot of good press recently. It's a band called Green Lung. I think they've just released their second album, and it's getting quite a lot of positive feedback in newspapers such as, I think it was The Guardian, might have done a spread on them recently, plugging their album and saying how good it was. So that the album I've got, I think it's called Woodland Rights or something like that. I found out about them through a Facebook group that is to do with that certain type of music, i.e. rock and metal, and people on there were like raving about them. So I just bought the album without really kind of hearing it, and it was really, really good. If you like, just get to the front here, if you like early Black Sabbath, then it's kind of like an earlier Black Sabbath, but almost where the kind of the guitar is a bit more developed. So it's almost, I don't know, maybe kind of like got elements of Queen in it, like harmonised guitar parts and stuff like that. It's really good. So go and check them out. I'm going to do a bit of a rolling start. This is a 40-mile-an-hour road, and we're coming up to a 60-mile-an-hour road. Like 40 to 70 in about 2 seconds. Lovely. Splendid. Yeah, so one last band I'll give a plug then is a band that 3 of my friends are in. That's Luke Leeson, Rob Taylor and Kieran Smith. Luke I've known for about 10 years, and he was on my last video. We got together quite a lot on the bikes. And Rob and Kieran I've known for ages. We used to drink together in the Ship in Croydon. So they're in a band, or they were in a band called Profane and the Sacred. Just to see what this guy's doing. They were in a band called the Profane and the Sacred, who unfortunately have disbanded. But they're one of their songs make up the title music to my channel, so go and check them out. They're really good. And that brings an end. Just wheel this back. It's a bit of a beast to wheel back. There we go. Whoa. You can see why when people get older they swap these bikes out for lighter bikes. Yeah, so that brings an end to my video. I petrol lights just come on. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video, and I hope you appreciate the slightly shorter duration of this one.